Coronavirus isn't exactly what we think it is. See, if you ask the question, who or what started Earth? Like, who or what was powerful enough to gather a bunch of dirt and chemical and gas and launched it into space and created Earth? So who and what made it in perfect proximity to the sun so we can now have a life, a civilization on this planet? Right? There's something so much bigger happening right now that is beyond the physical eye. So if you look past the physical, think in a bigger sense, and look down at the situation, everything is happening for a greater reason. When people go through things like this, they they they're prompted to change, right? We are ready for more expansion and more greatness, and if we don't have something to shake us up, we just end up living our lives over and over in the same way. We wake up, we check our email, we get stressed, we go to work, we drink our coffee, we come back, we do the same thing. It is like autopilot. We're numb. We're so numb to our life. We want more. We ask for equality, we ask for peace on earth. Well, here's your chance. Here's your chance, because look at what it's doing. If you change your attitude about this and look at it from a bigger perspective, you're going to notice that this is bringing people together. Yes, there's a lot of stress because that's just the old conditioned way of reacting to anything that is uncomfortable, is to stress, to have a fight or flight mode turned on, to blame somebody. Somebody's to be blamed, and this is the old way of being. And if you want to be greater than we are today, we got to break out of this old mentality of blame and shame and fear. Of course, it's scary and different for all of us, right? But the same token, think about it. Is it something you fear, or is it something you can make you be someone different because of it? We can't change or solve a problem with the mentality that created it. That means we have to change, right? We wanted peace and equality. The society is now showing us how we can all have a little bit of time to think. Maybe we all go into quarantine. Great. Look at this as a time where you can reflect, how can I make my life better because of this experience? Not to blame someone, because we can blame. We can say, oh yeah, the animals did it, or the China started it, or the military is up to something. But what does it matter who, how, or what? We need to focus on how we can change things by changing our own attitude, because our attitude is what changes the frequency, right? The attitude of fear, anger, stress, blame, it's all in a frequency of lack, which is 100 or less, right? Anger is 150. Compassion, love, forgiveness, all at a frequency of 500. This is not new stuff. Signs will tell you that emotions have frequency. And if we keep living in that old frequency of anger, blame, shame, then we're just going to keep this going a lot longer than it needs to. But if we just look at this from a place where, what can emerge for me? How can I be better because of this? So, how can we make peace with this? Right, there's people working so hard, like in many parts of the world, like in China, for example, they work 365 days a week with no rest. And the children, most of them are so stressed because they are pressured to have the best grades, and it's one of the highest suicide rates in the world. Right, those things have to stop. There has to be some balance, and this is sort of creating that, right? It's putting everybody to rest. I know it looks like a lot of, like, on a physical level, a lot of problems, but then again, if we keep that mentality, yes, we're going to see problems. But if we want to look at it from a place of solution, we can, because it's bringing the government together, it's bringing people to figure out, how do we make this better, how do we change this, right? Otherwise, most of these people would never get together. And society and humanity are coming together to feel compassion for one another, to understand each other, to help each other out, right? So not everybody's doing that, but the majority of the people in the world are looking for better, and are, looking for ways to help and have more compassion. So sometimes things have to shake up to wake up, and this is one of those things, right? We've had gone through this type of virus thing before in the past, like TB or SARS, but look at that. I mean, that changed us a little bit. But this is the time. This is the time that we're ready for bigger expansion. So this can end as quickly as it started, but it's up to us. It's up to our attitudes and how we shift frequencies. if we remain in that lower frequency, we keep this lower frequency for a while, and we can all go and learn. It won't be over until you learn that lesson. Let's put it that way. Okay, so let's learn those lessons together and come together, and look at this as an opportunity to expand, right? Or else we're numb to our everyday living. We wake up, we go to work, we check our email. Honestly, people who are making a lot of money or have a lot of money, they are even numb to appreciating what they really have. And so life can be very hard or sad or depressed. They have a tough life with relationships. Maybe they're going through a separation. What's all this money when you don't have health or happiness? Right? So this is a moment to take a break. Step aside. You want some love in your life, a good relationship, you want a sense of peace. This is a time to take that break and just reflect. If you go into quarantine, great. Use that time to understand what's emerging from you, right? So you can come out of this when this is all said and done, and it will be, just like everything, it will pass, right? When it's all said and done, you're going to come out and appreciate your money more, appreciate your health more, and everything becomes more because of it. And that's what's happening, right? And the people who are wanting to buy things and afford things and invest in stocks or whatever, and they couldn't afford it, well, now's the time. See how there's balance in this world. It's creating a lot of balance. So it's really up to you how you want to see this. So people can go and invest, and this is their time, and families can really turn around and teach their children better things instead of instilling fear and negative thoughts in them. This is the time to, every day, bit by bit, give them something positive about the situation, because children are just going to listen and learn from you, and then they spread the message. So what kind of parent or authority are you if you're not giving them something positive to live with and to grow from? Right? This is the time for you to really think about your own character, your own personality, because we cannot solve the problem with the old mentality that created it. So I challenge you for the next 7 days. For the next 7 days, that you are going to wake up every morning with a different mentality. You're going to ask yourself two empowering questions. Number one is, what is the greatest ideal of myself I can be today? Second, maybe, is to ask, what is trying to emerge from me to feel this way? The world is happening as it is. What is trying to come out of me? Right? And then little by little, every day, just do something that is going to be the ideal of who you are. It could just be spreading one positive message to your child. It could be just, instead of turning on the phone and looking at the news and ready to comment and feedback on how bad the virus is, maybe to put the phone aside and say, I'm going to check my email when I'm ready to check my email. I'm going to enjoy my coffee. I'm going to sit and think for a moment and reflect how I'm going to make my life better and how I can appreciate myself and the people around me more, because there's a lot of people who have suffered and has passed away because of this. But there's been thousands and thousands, that doesn't have to be thousands more, but these thousands of people who left this world have already taught us a lesson. It's helping millions of us, billions of us, to become greater than who we are. So let's take that as a lesson. They've given us a good lesson here. We have love and compassion for their families. This is where it's supposed to be. If thousands have to pass in order for millions and billions to learn, then I think it's a pretty good deal, and we should have compassion and thankfulness and gratitude, and appreciate, love for them and their family, and to move on and make use of that lesson rather than just go back to our same old ways, right? So think about this. Even the hospitals, they will say life before limb, right? So they rather cut off your arm or leg to save your life. So something has to give to keep life going. And so this is sort of that same idea. It's like, maybe some people have to pay that price, but not for no reason, but for a reason so much bigger. So we have to look at that as a positive in that way, and then have love and compassion and thank them from inside, and just from your spirit to thank them. So I challenge you for the next 7 days to wake up with two empowering questions and to act on it, even in some small way, and not just repeat the old pattern of living, because that's just living in the past. If you're living in the past, waking up, doing the same thing, thinking of the same problems, moving in the same way, you're living in the past. And the past cannot create the future. The power begins here and now. Your power begins here and now by you changing your attitude, and therefore your vibration. You raise that frequency of lack from anger, blame, and oh, why is this happening? From that frequency of 100 to 2 to 3 to 4. If you can all raise your frequency slowly to 4 or 500, which is appreciation and forgiveness, this is where everything starts to change. This can end as quickly as you want it to, but it's all up to you because you are the antidote by your choice and how you want to look at this entire situation. Okay?